Grandmillenial. Grandmillenial interior design is a refreshing departure from homogeneity. I mean, we are all tired of those white rooms with a bit of subtle pattern here and a monster relief there. The look takes the best parts of both old and new styles and brings them together. Think of the outdated, possibly frumpy pieces of the past, but then you are going to use this for the younger millennial people. When combined, the look is going to be the blend of traditional elements but with a modern twist. It isn't exactly the stuffy formal rooms that you might remember from your childhood, but rather this updated take on traditional style adopts old school design trends with really a fresh spin for the 21st century. By mixing in a few modern elements, the style is nostalgic and comfortable without looking kitschy. Some elements are floral prints and ruffles, skirted tables, monograms, and elaborate chandeliers. A room of wallpaper, patterned upholstery, rich slain wood furniture, and needlepoint pillows, but perhaps in a modern monochromatic color scheme. And this is exactly what we are calling granny chic, traditional with a modern twist. It's about taking all these designs and then updating them to more convenient and suitability of today's modern home. Classic and not trend best is exactly what this design style is after. If Grandmillenial had a motto, it would definitely be always fresh, never stuffy. Now, here are easy ways to implement it. 1. Collections. One way to turn up the dial on your design and add Grandmillenial touches is by bringing back and displaying your collections. Now, I'm not talking about your husband's G.I. Joe collection or your original Barbie dolls. Here, I want you to think granny chic. If you want to go all the way, begin looking for, say, some elephant figurines or whatever little knick-knack that floats your boat. The idea here is to group similar vintage items for a robust maximalist design that's bursting with personality and charm. 2. Patterns. What else belongs in an update of the past? Patterns, of course. Grandmillenial interior design does not shy away from patterns. A more traditional take on patterns would be to wallpaper everything in sight. If that speaks to you, by all means, go for it. Or if you want to add a more modern take to full-on patterning, then you can incorporate them into your tile work on your floor or backsplash in the kitchen. And please, remember to use as many patterns as possible. Didn't think I'd say that? Well, I went there. Mixing patterns, when done tastefully, adds a sophisticated elegance to a room that is absolutely appropriate in a home with Grandmillenial style. Try to find patterns that use the same color, a shared design element, or combine one pattern that's modern and simple with one that's more flauncy and detailed. 3. Layer on the personality. Some might say that the Grandmillenial look is cluttered. While it takes an artful eye and the right placement of the right things, the look, when done well, should not be cluttered. Layering in traditional pieces, especially well-loved ones, lets you highlight your personality. The key to achieving a cohesive Grandmillenial look is that it's rooted in traditionalism. Yes, you can incorporate pieces from all different eras, but be intentional about what you choose. Know the history of the items you are selecting to display in your collections. You'll not only have an appreciation for where they come from, but you'll learn about the era in which they were produced and popular. Same with patterns. Take time to understand who created the pattern. You'll discover you're drawn to a certain designer that you like, or you may be drawn to a particular artist or a particular time period. And you may also want to use their patterns exclusively. That will give your home a really intentional, curated feel, rather than it looking like you simply didn't have the time to remove the previous owner's wallpaper. Let's talk about dark academia. This popular trend is rooted in showcasing dark-toned walls, and a myriad of diverse quirky treasures. Think Hogwarts, but with a lot more style. Despite its slightly spooky ambience, I can hope you see why this trend is getting more popular. Dark academia consists of a keen balance of dark and light colors, natural wood, vintage and metal finishings, and lots of interesting and well-arranged objects, as well as plenty of natural lighting. It's dark, but not like Hot Topic dark. Everything feels very grown up, but there can be a sense of playfulness and curiosity which can be added by the antiques that you decide to fill your home with. Dark academia, like most things these days, got its start on social media, primarily TikTok. The trend has been alive since mid-2020 and has become more and more popular in recent months. As its name implies, dark academia makes use of heavy, dark, muted color palettes and objects which are often connected to either an educational or a college realm, such as books, relics, oddities, and fine art. It's an aesthetic that relies heavily on classical features and therefore has a timeless air about it, which is built entirely on the sense of mystery and embellishment. But it has a secret thread of coziness which is actually woven through it from start until finish. Colors are more than welcome in dark academia. You can find a broad spectrum from the invigorating and luxurious darker hues to the more lighter muted tones. The blend of darker colors with lighter earth tones can still be cozy and also lively. It feels very similar to an old castle aesthetic with natural light pouring in and some softly and pleasantly furnished rooms, which produces a sense of calm and thoughtfulness. It feels absolutely lovely to relax in a home like this, and you feel like you're truly tucked away from all the chaos. You typically find dark walls the norm, but you can also leave your walls painted in a lighter color and then focus on using darkly painted furniture for a similar vibe. Obviously, leather old bound books are the very best, but any decent book collection will do, to be honest. Candles, lamps, dimmable ceiling lights, these are all going to be your ideal lighting arrangements. Coziness and relaxation are really the primary goals here. So on theme, curtains, blankets, and throw pillows are all more than welcome. Now let us break down some of the ways that you can incorporate dark academia. 1, venture to the dark side. Wait, I don't mean that dark side. I mean just paint. 2, maintain a dark scheme with antique portraits. You can emphasize your moody scheme by using some antique portraits and pairing them with a modern twist. For example, think of 19th century portraits of gentlemen. This type of 19th century portraits will really help create a moody aesthetic. You can look for these at auctions or at your local thrift store. Putting several of these portraits together can produce a library or a clubby feel. To emphasize this feeling, use painted wallpaper on the ceiling. 3, source authentic antiques. Dark academia is not going to be possible without shelves which are laden full with antiques, whether that is an ornate photo frame, an elaborate candle holder, a flower vase, whatever it may be. But so many people think of antiques as something old, dusty, and even something that they would find in their grandparents' houses, you know? But an antique can actually add so much, even to the most contemporary space. Give an antique a new lease of life, or reupholster an old chair with fresh linen fabric or bold velvet, and before you know it, you will experience satisfaction knowing that you chose that piece which is unique to you and your home. 4, interrupt the moody palette with earthy hues. While this trend is primarily associated with monochromatic tones, it similarly celebrates some natural colors, including greens and blues, which are already trending this year. Earthy muted tones will help to create a calm space, and I would recommend to avoid some dull grays and swap them out for some earthy greens or dusty blues. 5. Invest in natural furnishings to really create an enduring statement piece. In the same way that earthy tones contribute to dark academia, natural furnishings are equally influential in this trend. One of my personal favorite materials to use is pipey oak. It's a beautiful natural living product with texture, movement from the grain, and this really helps to bring warmth and character to a piece of furniture. This tone works particularly well against harder materials such as metal or stone, and of course the rich use of a black paint. Danish Pastel. You may have noticed a change in Scandinavian design of late, which is that the color schemes are usually thoughtfully planned with clean lines, are really beginning to take a back seat, and we now see more soft frilly rugs, playful shapes, and more bold uses of color. Whilst it's true that neutral walls may still be present in Danish Pastel, this is not always the case. Now you are just as likely to see a peach or a likely wall in a room featuring a C-form green couch as well as a plush mint rug. Danish Pastel is shifting Scandinavian design in new and colorful ways. It really brightens up the mood with a combination of both cozy hygge and playful pastel palette. I think that the shift towards the softer and brighter colors is a great way to spruce up your interior design as we move to spring and beyond. Try blending Danish Pastel with hygge and the Swedish form of lagom, which means just enough, within your interior design. This can create a really calm and cheerful environment which fosters a positive mood. Danish Pastel embraces many of the typical qualities of Scandinavian design. You will still see an emphasis on quality of craftsmanship in home decor items, but what is also present is the uncluttered open room design. The ideology of having a calm and inviting space remains the goal, as is the use of natural light. Where Danish Pastel separates itself is in how much color is present. It is Scandinavian design, but with a serious pastel boost. Fresh splashes of bright tinted hues in a neutral room leap to the eye and really allow every last bit of natural light to be reflected and to illuminate the space. The usage of pastels is a wonderful way to soothe your senses and to trigger a sense of happiness. It is spring-like and rejuvenating, and it really injects you with a sense of energy and a refreshed view of life. Pastels foster a feeling of relaxation and calm when used in interior design. The tinted hues also tend to promote a very cheery attitude. These qualities make it easy to understand why this design style is taking a hold these days. I mean, honestly, who could not use a little bit more calm and cheer in their life now? I know I could use some. And what better way to start adding more bright colors to your home than now, as the season is about to change from the bright summery feeling to the dark long nights. One of the great things about Danish Pastel is that it is easy to start practicing in your home. Pastels make great accent colors when paired with neutrals or dark hues in interior design. When used in this manner, they really provide balance and a complex sophistication to your color scheme. They also look terrific when paired together with other colors within the same color family. Another great feature of Danish Pastel is that it works equally well in a minimalist or in a maximalist interior design style. In case you have ever Googled, can you be a colorful minimalist? Then I'm here to tell you that the answer is yes, you can. Pair your space to only what is essential, but you can paint those walls lilac and then you can add a beautiful peach couch. It will look wonderful. Try to aim for functionality over harsh minimalism to maintain a sense of comfort and calm within your home. My number one absolute favorite pastel color to use in interior design is pistachio green. The psychology of green in its fully saturated foam evokes relationships with nature and ideas and renewal. Adding white then creates a fresher, crispier hue that holds the same traits but also fosters a sense of serenity. Pistachio green is especially helpful when used in an environment intended to promote calm and optimism. One great way to incorporate this color is in your kitchen. An idea to do that would be to add a pistachio green spoon rest to your kitchen as an accessory to inspire a little bit of joy whilst cooking and also to nourish yourself and your beloved ones. Pink is another terrific pastel color to use in interior design. Although its parent color, which is red, is extremely aggressive, the tinted hue is non-threatening and it fosters feelings of optimism, hope, and innocence. Just close your eyes and remember of that feeling that you get when you first see some beautiful pink flowers during springtime, after a dark and cold winter. There is really a positivity to pastel pink that cannot be denied. Try adding it to your living room or even to your bedroom. And I really love the idea of some sheer pink curtains because they filter in light beautifully and the entire room is really bathed in a nice soft rose tint. The final color that I would like to mention is powder blue. Blues have a natural tendency to evoke feelings like calm, stability, as well as imagination. Pastel varieties such as powder blue also foster associations with open spaces, inspiration, and sensitivity. Imagine gazing up the sky on a cloudless day. During a beautiful summer day, you can really let your imagination go and it can take you places. Powder blue makes a great addition to your living room or even to your craft room. It can also invigorate you when you wake up in the morning if used in a bedroom. Retro revival. Retro revival look is offering a timeless yet earthy alternative to so-called fast homeware. Decorating with vintage is back, and whilst some people are looking forward to what is new and what is next in the world of design, the people who are gravitating towards the retro revival are looking for more slower paced life that really appreciates original pieces and their nostalgic appeal. The original retro style began around the 1980s as post-war designers looked to create a bright and bold type of hope. This style, therefore, had a fun and lively appeal that people are looking to revive in their homes today. The retro revival aesthetic is characterized by timeless silhouettes that have a lived-in feel. Retro revival is a sister style to mid-century modern decor. The retro revival trend plays with heritage looks that are lively and impactful and forever pieces that ooze personality, much like many styles that play with decorating with vintage. The actual trend that is currently exponentially growing is people wanting eclectic interiors, or interiors that tell a story and engage a conversation between the past and the present. Eclecticism has become such a big trend because through globalization, travel has become a person's status symbol in our society. It has become about where one has been, where one is going, how often one travels, and this is equally reflected by the interiors. By mixing past and present as well as different cultures, this shows one's ability to navigate through our global society. What differentiates retro revival trend from established trends such as mid-century modern is really the use of warm, saturated colors, fluent lines, layered textures, and vintage accents, as opposed to more traditional muted tones with occasional pops of color, boldness, minimal ornamentation, and clean lines. To achieve the retro look, it is important to incorporate it tastefully to avoid a clashing or a garish looking space. Consider earthy tones of greens and yellows alongside some beautiful terracottas, burnt oranges, and reds to lean into the warm skin. To bring the retro palette up to date and introduce a warm air of sophistication, mix in some neutrals such as creams and beiges. Abstract shapes are also a must in this retro style. Warmth is also brought into the style through fabrics such as crushed velvet and boucle, which creates a sense of casual comfort. Play around with textures in the space to create an eclectic personal look, and layer pieces from different eras and periods for a space that tells a beautiful story.